Hey y'all, welcome back. My name is Kinsey and I'm here to give you more information about the Faster Way to Fat Loss program. So last week we talked about intermittent fasting, some tips with water and coffee, how to make it into that eating window with still staying in a fasted state, how we track our macros, and then I also went into low carb days. So I wanted to touch again on the low carb days because I know that can be a little intimidating. Again, low carb days are just days where we stay under 50 net carbs. And I say net carbs because you can consume 50 or 70 carbs and eat 40 grams of fiber, and then you'll be at 30 net carbs. And that's what we want. We'll always subtract the fiber, just because your body doesn't process fiber, so those calories don't count necessarily. We also touched on tracking our macros and how on a low carb day, when we track our macros, our fat intake will be higher than what it normally says. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you what my FitnessPal kind of looks like. So my FitnessPal told me that I needed 62 grams of fat on a regular macro day. On a low carb day, I could go to 80 grams of fat. Like I could go a significant amount over what is given to me for a regular macro day because I'm gonna be eating way less carbs. So I just kind of wanted to give you an idea of that, and I'll just kind of show you. So Tuesday was a low carb day. So I have Tuesday pulled up in my phone right here, and I went over 36 grams of fat, which means I ate 99 grams of fat. And that's totally okay because carbs, I had roughly around 25 grams of carbs that day. So I just took 58 minus 27, and that gives me around 25 grams of carbs, or 21 grams of carbs, or 31 grams of carbs. Math is hard. So that's kind of what that looks like. I just wanted to show you in my FitnessPal what that kind of looked like. Now to touch on tracking macros in here again, today is a regular macro day, so I am going to be eating 94 grams of protein, 62 grams of fat, and 235 grams of carbs. I will enter in all of my meals before noon so that I stay on track throughout the day. If you enter in your meals, like you eat breakfast and then you enter in what you ate, there is a good chance that you won't meet your macro goals that way, just because then you don't have everything planned out. So then you'll kind of have to change what you were wanting to eat that day based off of what you ate for breakfast after you entered in everything. So if you enter it in before noon when you break your fast, this just allows you to be able to stay on track and enter in all your snacks as well. So Wednesday was a regular macro day, and I got my macros as close as I could. Progress, not perfection. So if you don't meet your macros every single day, that's okay, but we still want you to eat, and we still want you to work towards those goals. So Wednesday was a regular macro day. I had 0 grams of fat left at the end of the day. I had 8 grams of protein left, and I had 58 carbs left, which means overall I ate 86 grams of protein, 176 grams of carbs, and 62 grams of fat. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of go over my FitnessPal. This is what it looks like. If you can see that, is it focusing? Yes, that's what it looks like. So yeah, go ahead and download that app and kind of play around with it and see what your macros are, and see if you have been meeting them, and then also see what you can do to kind of change to meet those. The next thing that I want to hit on is a regular macro day. So I already kind of touched on how you track it in here. A regular macro day is just the macros that MyFitnessPal gives you. You will intake all of those carbs, fats, and proteins exactly to what MyFitnessPal gave you. And we just do this because Tuesday, after your second low carb day, you need to replenish your glycogen stores. So your body just needs to be replenished with those carbs. And Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday are the days that we have regular macro days. And these are the days that we also strength train. So we strength train throughout this program because we want to build muscle and we want to burn fat, and this will help us do that. And then I just wanted to also give you guys some ideas for regular carb days or regular macro days. Some of my favorite meals that contain carbs are oatmeal, sweet potatoes, and obviously any meat or protein you want to add with that. Rice, quinoa. You can still do like salads and stuff like that. But these are the clean carbohydrates that we want to do. In this program, we don't really focus on processed foods. While those processed foods like bread, those processed foods probably fit in your macros, but you don't want to eat those because they are processed. We want to focus on something. We want to eat and put the food into our body that comes from a mother or has a mother, or it comes from the ground. So that's all meats, vegetables, fruits, grains, and stuff like that. Throughout this program, another component is doing it gluten and dairy free. I've always had a sensitivity to gluten and dairy, and especially dairy. I don't have my gallbladder, so I can't process high-fat foods, and dairy has a ton of fat in it. But we recommend, especially your first round, do it gluten and dairy free because tons of people have sensitivities to both of those and they don't know it. If you have a sensitivity, your body won't process those foods as well, and it will just, your digestive system will kind of slow down. So we want you to take gluten and dairy out of those and eat foods that come from a mother or from the ground. So we just want you to eat whole and nutritious foods instead of processed foods. So even like gluten-free bread, that's still very processed, so we don't even recommend doing that. Just go to whole grains and nothing that is processed. Lastly, the last thing that I want to touch on is treat day. So every Saturday we have a treat day, and this is because it's leg day, so we're going to be lifting the heaviest on this day. This is a regular macro day, so if it fits in your macros, we would love for everyone to have their favorite treat. I personally love warm cookies. I know I have friends that love donuts, or they love cake, or they love a cupcake, and we all just choose our own thing, and then we fit that into our macros for the day, but we get to enjoy that treat. Now that treat does not have to be gluten or dairy free, but this is the only day that you should be incorporating something that isn't gluten or dairy free into your macros. But yeah, so this week we touched on a little bit more of the low carb. I showed you my Fitness Pal and what that looks like. I touched on regular macro days, strength training, and also my favorite regular macro carbs to have. I also touched on dairy and gluten-free, and then your treat for Saturday. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and then also go ahead and follow me on my Instagram. It's at @thekenziedanielle, and I'll link it in here, and I'll link it also down below in the description box. And on my Instagram, you'll be able to find more information about this program, more information about my day-to-day life throughout this program, and so you'll get to see like what I eat for low carb days, what I eat for regular macro days, the workouts that I'm doing, and some more tips and tricks to be successful throughout this program. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good week. Tune in next week and I'll have you some more new information on the program. Bye!